So one of the most frequently asked questions that I've gotten lately has been, RJ, how do you manage your leads? Right? How long do I follow up with a PPL lead? What do I do with the call no answers? When do I just give up on calling that seller? Is it 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months? What do I do with all these leads? Now, this is great news because, quite frankly, at the beginning of 2024, all of the questions were around how do I get enough leads to have a sustainable wholesaling business. Now the questions inside the community are really shifting to how do I manage all of these leads? This is great. This is a natural evolution of running a sustainable wholesaling business. So I'm enjoying seeing the questions really change. Now, what I want to give you guys is a visual for you guys to see what a CRM would look like for our acquisitions team. However, YouTube loves to shut down videos that show any addresses. And I don't want this video to get taken down. So I can't actually show you a CRM that includes addresses. So what I've done is I've just made a makeshift spreadsheet for you guys. Okay. Now, don't worry. All a CRM is a spreadsheet just made look pretty. Okay. So this is going to be just good enough for you. And quite frankly, a lot of you could just be working off of a spreadsheet anyways. So let's bring up our visual here. Here we go. This is a spreadsheet version of what Titanium CRM would look like. These are the actual statuses that we have inside of our CRM. New leads, called no answer, follow-up, signed contract, dead lead. Now, the reason why these are our statuses is because I do not believe in a hot lead, a warm lead, a cold lead. I don't believe in that. Leads don't have temperatures, okay? It's either a lead or it's not. And realistically, all I want to know as an acquisitions person is what is the status, the actual status? Is it new? No one's ever called it. Did we call them? They haven't answered. Have we spoken to them and we need to follow up? Did we get a signed contract? Or is it dead and I don't ever have to worry about it again? That's all I'm worried about as an acquisitions person, because inside each and every one of these leads, I'm going to have very detailed notes about all of the actions that are taken. So every time we call them, we leave a voicemail, we send a text message, we follow up with them. All of the communication that we have will be put in the notes. Okay. Now, when I look at this, the priority when I start my day as an acquisitions is the new leads. So wherever you start your day, that is the first leads that I want you to call. All of these new leads. Now, what I've put in here as a visual representation is 50 leads. Okay. Just to have that number in mind, because we're going to come back to it later on, but there's 50 leads here. All right. I'm going to start with my new leads. As I go down and I call each and every one of these new leads, they're going to change statuses. So I call number 10. It's no longer a new lead. It's going to go to called, no answer. Okay. Then I'm going to call the next new lead. It's no longer a new lead. Oh, we had a great conversation, but he's got to talk to his wife. Now it's in follow-up. So on and so forth. I'm going to go through all of my new leads. Once I'm done calling all of my new leads, I'm going to move over to follow-up. Now, the reason why we go to follow-up is because sometimes the follow-up leads are time sensitive, or there's a long period of time where we don't need to call them. So it's normally pretty quick to go through these. What I mean by that is, for example, say this top one, we sent them a contract yesterday and they said, we're going to review the contract tonight. Call me tomorrow morning. We need to call that person because it's very time sensitive. And it can also get us to move one of these follow-ups to signed contract. That's the key, right? So we follow up with all of those. As we move down the list, what we might see is a seller that we spoke to that said, hey, we're currently in probate and it's going to take another 2 months before we can even sign a contract. Well, we don't have to follow up with that one today, right? We have a timeline on that. We can set a due date inside of our CRM. We don't have to follow up. Regardless, we're going to take a look at every single one of our follow-ups and make sure that ones that we do need to call, we do. And the ones that we don't, we just move on from those. Now, the called no answers. This is normally going to be the list or the status that has the most amount of leads. Okay. That's just my experience. All right. Because the way that we want to manage this is very few follow-ups, and it's either a signed contract or it's moved dead. The only reason why it's not in one of those statuses is because we just haven't gotten a hold of them yet. And to be great at wholesaling, utilizing inbound leads specifically, you have to get a hold of these people. These are the people that our competition are giving up on. They're not following up with these leads relentlessly every single day. So here's my strategy. On Monday, I'm going to start at the top of the list, okay, with the newest called no answers. Okay, so these are the ones that on Friday came in, they didn't answer. So now on Monday, they're the newest called no answers. I'm going to go all the way down from the top to the bottom. I'm not going to skip any single one of them. I'm going to call, I'm going to leave a voicemail on every single one of them. Now, come Tuesday, what am I going to do? I'm going to call my new leads. I'm going to touch all my follow-ups. Now I've got the big mamma jamma, right? The called no answers. I'm going to start at the bottom. Roughly speaking, it should be about the exact same time of day on Monday when you were calling the top of the list. So, for example, if it took me an hour to call my new leads and all of my follow-ups, I started my called no answers at the top at 11 a.m. By the time I got down here, it was probably in the afternoon. So on Tuesday, we're going to start at the bottom, a different time of day, and hope that that generates getting a response from the seller. And we're going to work our way from the bottom to the top. Then on Wednesday, call all my new leads, all my follow-ups, and then I'm going to go smack dab in the middle. And I'm going to go from the middle up, and then the middle down. Then on Thursday, new leads, follow-ups. I'm going to go middle, down, middle, up. Think you're seeing the trend. The key here is that we're just changing the time of day in which we're reaching out to that seller. We have no idea the reason why they're not answering the phone. We like to make assumptions, and typically we tell ourselves it's because PPL is bullshit, speed to lead sucks, this seller has already sold someone else, all of these worst case scenarios. However, what we've actually found out is well, they're just busy. They have a job. They're motivated for something. Maybe they have a lot going on in their life, and maybe we're just reaching out at the wrong time, right? So we change it up. And then on Friday, you can come in and you could really pick whatever you want. Free for all, whatever you want to do, because we've already touched them at all different times of day. So if you want to start at the top, start at the top. If you want to start at the bottom, start at the bottom. What I will tell you is normally the oldest leads are going to be the most difficult to get a hold of. All right. So quite frankly, for me, when I got to Fridays, I always just restarted with the newest called no answers to try to get the best results as possible. Now, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is the new leads that are coming in. Every single day, you're going to have a certain amount that go to dead leads. You're going to have a certain amount that go to signed contract. You're going to have a certain amount that go to follow-up. Realistically, if it goes to call no answer or follow-up, it's still in your queue, okay? The signed contracts and the dead leads is the number that you really need to be paying attention to. Whatever that number accumulates to on a daily basis should be, roughly speaking, the same amount of new leads you get the next day. So what I mean is, if you call all of your leads on a Monday and you have 10 dead leads, a signed contract, that's 11 leads. You need 11 leads on Tuesday to replenish your queue. Now, I made a comment in one of my videos the other day about I like to have 300 leads in my queue as an acquisitions guy at any point in time. Now, that's an astronomical number, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you, I've been checking other people's metrics and the amount of dials that they can place in a day. And listen, we've been running a team of acquisitions people, specifically with inbound leads now for years. And it's really difficult for people to manage that many leads. Okay. So the reason why I put 50 on here is this is a pretty good sampling of what I think the average acquisitions person could handle. 50 leads in a day. All right. Now I want you touching each and every one of these. The key is that you're always moving leads to either signed contract or dead leads. And then you're replenishing them with new leads. So for example, if I have 50 leads right here, my goal should be to close 2 of those. Specifically, this is Speed to Leads Coupon Club, going back to my $0 to $1 million, right? These are all Coupon Club leads, spending $29 a lead. I've got 50 of them. I need to get 2 contracts. That means what? Well, that means probably 48 of them are going to come over here to dead lead. And that's where we're replenishing them with new leads. So every single day, your queue of leads should be about the exact same amount. All right. So that's my methodology on how to manage your leads. Now, inside of that, this is just how you're kind of managing the time of day and when you're reaching out. This isn't always just calling and leaving the exact same voicemail, okay? You need to get creative. You need to leave creative voicemail, send text messages. If you have their email, send an email, whatever you need to do, okay? Now, I have a video on this called Have You Done Your Oh Babies? And you can go back and you can watch that. But the goal here is to get those called no answers to respond to you one way or another, because that is going to be the key to you hitting your metrics. Now, one of the questions that I saw in our free Facebook group, The Vault, the other day was, how long do we continue to follow up with these leads? Is it 3 weeks, 3 months? What is it, RJ? Until they answer the damn phone, okay? Now, listen, I'm sure you guys are listening to this and you're like, RJ, dude, you're so old school, like you old head. What are you talking about? We got CRMs with drippy drips and all this other stuff. Fuck that bullshit. Let me tell you something. I can guarantee you I can outperform any drip campaign that you've got. If you want to be lazy and not do the work, then be lazy and just accept your subpar results. The facts are, as an acquisitions guy, you spent money on these leads. As a business owner, you swiped your credit card, and it's your job to get them on the damn phone. Now, if you're going to rely on Simply's drip campaigns to hopefully get them to respond to you, well, that's on you. What I'm telling you is I'm going to get them on the phone one way or another. And this is why our results normally exceed people that say, listen, they haven't answered the phone in 2 weeks. We're not going to waste any more time. What do you mean waste any more time? It takes about 20 to 30 seconds to dial the phone number and leave a voicemail. Send a text message, even less time. It's just about your own work ethic and desire to be successful in this industry or not. That's a fact. So for me, do we have drip campaigns? Do I allow the team to do that stuff? Absolutely. But as an acquisitions person, I do not rely on that whatsoever. I don't give a shit how many drippy drips we've sent to them. I'm going to get a hold of them. I'm going to outperform that technology every single day of the year. So for me, I follow this methodology right here. I take my actions and I go get those results. So if you want to know how to manage your leads, that's how I manage my leads. And I don't know anyone else that can outperform that methodology. Try it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Appreciate you guys.